What's up, everybody? It's that time again for another episode. We're here live with the ColumbusBlack.com Support Black Business Series. I'm excited. Why? It's been a couple of weeks since we've had this particular format, but I'm excited for us to be back and I have some special guests with us today. So for those that don't know, and I'm going to take these AirPods out, for those that don't know, we've been doing this. This is literally volume 12, right? So while we skipped a couple of weeks here and there, we've been doing this literally for the last 3 months where we've been highlighting Black-owned businesses here in Columbus, Ohio. We want to make sure that we are fulfilling that gap, right? And that gap is people who say, I want to support Black-owned businesses, but I don't know where they are. And right now, and as you all know, there are multiple platforms that have popped up recently that are highlighting and showcasing Black-owned businesses, some that have been around, some that are new, but that excuse is going away. Well, we've been taking it to the next level ever since the beginning of COVID because we expected that we will be disproportionately impacted in our communities. And what we wanted to do was make sure that there was a platform for our businesses to literally come on out, let people know who they are, what it is that they do, so that we could support them and patronize our businesses to be successful, not short-term, but long-term. So with that being said, in addition to the Support Black Business Series, which is this format, which is free for business owners. So if you're interested, you can send me an email at info@ColumbusBlack.com so that we can highlight and spotlight your business, right? And then in addition to that, if you're interested in our weekly email blast, we send out an email blast to thousands of residents every single week. You can be on there. It costs $50 a month, which is a lot less than the original price, but we did that to support our Black-owned businesses as well. So that email directory of Black-owned businesses pops into thousands of email addresses inboxes every week, right? So they know who you are, you're front and center, and you can drive your business. So with that being said, we're going to transition into some really healthy, powerful discussions today. So as you all know, we were impacted by COVID right around the middle of March. COVID-19 came in, and let me tell you, it has literally transformed everyone's life, right? Internationally. Now, on top of that, we just got news today, right, that is required now in the city of Columbus that everyone wears a mask when they're out. That is as of today. So that's hot off the press, all kind of releases coming out on that. So you want to make sure you protect yourself and protect others by wearing your mask every time you are out and about. So with that being said, COVID-19 came in, and then about a month ago, right, the unfortunate loss or murder, should I say, of George Floyd impacted the entire world. So we have two pandemics, right, that are front and center for us right now. But as you all know, when we talk about Black-owned businesses, we are being impacted. But at the same time, opportunity now is presenting itself, right? So I always say, and I don't necessarily say it's funny how God works, but it's interesting how he works, and he always has a plan. But with that being said, I have two amazing entrepreneurs with us today, and I want to highlight and showcase them and their businesses, what they have going on. So I want to open it up. I'm going to let them both introduce themselves. So actually, we're going to start with the ladies. This is ladies first. So Sister Boyce, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about what it is that you do? And then we'll go deeper into your business a little bit later.
Okay. So I am Crystal Hall-Boyce, and I am owner of Leap of Faith Dance Studio here in Columbus, Ohio. We have been open for 16 years now. We opened in 2004. I know. I was only 13 at the time.
We knew that, by the way. We knew that.
Yeah, I was only 13 at the time, but we've been open for 16 years. We started in a room in our church, a small room in our church with 10 students, and we've grown to about 200. Not 200 anymore. COVID, Rona got us. But we started out on East Long Street and the church annex building across the street from St. Paul A&B Church. And we have since moved to off of King Avenue, off of Olentangy, near OSU area. We needed more space. We moved to another building. Yeah, so we've been there for about 5 years now.
Okay, congratulations on that as well, right? So, and we'll come back and we'll talk about COVID and all the impact and all that other stuff, but that's awesome what you've done, and congratulations on 16 years.
Thank you.
That's a lot of lives changed, all right? So, good stuff. So, Jasper, why don't you tell us about yourself and your business? What you got going on?
So, man, thanks, Kev, once again. Appreciate it. I am born and raised here in Columbus, Ohio, servant leader, most of all, man, CEO and founder of Tailored Fit Educational Consulting, as well as Tailored Technology. And we do a lot of work around engaging with our schools, putting together kind of what we consider master plans, identifying needs of schools and school districts that we work with. I'm also the board chair of Masters Preparatory Academy, and the designer and founder of Ubuntu Summer Leadership Institute, where we're working directly with African-American males within our community to transform the narrative and the perspective when it comes to our African-American males and specifically the communities that they impact.
Nice, nice. All right, transformation. So here's the deal. I should have just titled this one Transformational because literally that's what you both have done. If you think about the audience and what y'all are doing with our youth and how y'all are changing their lives, right, and impacting them. This is amazing. And by the way, also for those that watch this is what we do, right? And I'm excited about hearing more about your businesses and then also figuring out how we can support and help you all as a community to be extremely successful, okay? So let me ask this question. So COVID-19 kicked in. I want to know from you, what impact did that have on your business, how you've had to pivot or make adjustments or tweak? What has happened since basically the middle of March, if not sooner for you? And either one of you can start.
Ladies first, Crystal. We'll keep it that way.
Okay, thank you. Actually, after the first weekend in March, we had to shut down.
Wow.
You know, the type of business that I have is, you know, teach dance. The kids are in close quarters. The teachers are in close quarters. I have, you know, children who have maybe immune issues or being raised by elderly parents or grandparents. And we made the decision that if schools had to be shut down, I want to make sure I was protecting my kids at the studio and their families, as well as my own children. At that point in time, we went for 2 weeks. I wasn't sure what we were going to do because things were changing every day. You know, with this COVID-19, you never know what was happening. Each day was something different. So we decided, unfortunately, to stay closed until Ohio started opening back up. We wanted to follow all local and federal guidelines to make sure that, you know, we were just protecting everyone. That being said, no dance classes means no students. No students means no tuition. No tuition means you can't pay any of the bills. And I was really concerned about all my students. I actually teach at a charter school also. So I was concerned about my day students and concerned about all my Leap of Faith babies. And I decided that I wanted to make sure that they were still feeling engaged and connected because, you know, as crazy as this all is for us, it was insane for the kids. You know, we have to remember that they are scared. They're frightened. We've never gone through anything like this, but we're adults. Going through this as a child, you know, you go home from school one day and you never go back. You never see your teachers, you never see your friends, you're stuck at home. So we decided to start our classes online. So we started doing Zoom classes so I can see all my students, from my children, the babies, all the way up to my adults. So I can see them and keep my finger on their pulse to see how they were doing emotionally. And I taught them from my house, from my living room, and they all are in their living room. And, you know, we get on and sometimes we just talk and sometimes we have a dance party. I just put on music. We just go crazy to get the out of them. And then sometimes with my dogs, we just pray. The entire time. But I did not charge for those Zoom classes. I needed to make sure my people were okay. So.
Wow. That is so awesome. You know, we talked about the impact and the transformation, but, you know, thinking about the relationships that you've established and now to be that resource for these kids, as well as the parents, right? Like, you know, COVID has had a significant impact on so many people, especially mentally, right? And for you to provide that outlet says so much. So I'm glad to hear that, and I appreciate you as much as I know those parents and those kids appreciate you, all right? So I have a question. So does that mean we can have a Zoom party with you at any point and just dance like we're crazy?
Yeah, I was going to ask that same thing, Chris. I was like, when's the next dance party, baby?
Make it happen. I can make it happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think a lot of people want to dance right around now. So you might be onto something, Crystal.
We need to.
Good stuff. All right. So we'll promote it on ColumbusBlack.com. I'll tell you that. All right. So you pick the date, time, and the music.
All right.
All right. So
we'll do it.
There you go. So Jasper, COVID-19, what impact?
Man, brother, it has just like Sister Crystal said, it's shifted. It's forced us all to look at life differently.
Yeah.
I think to just each and every moment really to begin to have a different level of appreciation. And when I think about appreciation from multiple levels, and being in the education space as the CEO and co-founder of both of the organizations, Taylor Fit and Taylor Technologies, we understand the importance of education now more than ever, right? I'm telling you, I remember I started getting text messages and all kind of stuff from social media platforms about parents crying, asking their teachers to come pick their kids up, from their own home, because this homeschooling thing has taken it to a whole nother level, right? You got kids dropping out of school because it's homeschool, right? And so I think the appreciation of education has been taken to another space due to COVID. And I think with that, it's interesting because for us, and I was specifically thinking about our work with the schools and family engagement that we did, we had to immediately adjust and begin to do virtual engagements, just like Sister Crystal said, where we were engaging with parents and students from some of our schools. It was interesting. You said it, Kev, that sometimes these obstacles open up massive opportunities, right? And so we recognized and realized that there were parents and students who were disconnected from curriculum or instruction or just engagement with the school that wouldn't show up at the school, but they would join in on a family engagement night Zoom call that we were doing, right? And so it opened up a number of opportunities being able to go and do some virtual things. And then on the other hand, our work with specifically our African-American males with Masters Preparatory Academy and Ubuntu, we had already had this whole thing planned out for the summer. Our whole program was planned out. We had already worked with Ohio State, in the College of Education and Human Ecology and the Todd Bell Center to have a residential, summer program for Ubuntu leadership, right? And so it was like, man, what in the heck are we going to do now? And so we're sitting at the table, myself, Dr. Murphy, Brother James Ragland, and Sister Tiffany Edwards, we're all sitting there. And the reality was there was some virtual resistance. Right, there was virtual resistance, right there at the table, virtually, right? Like, no, we can't. We might as well just let it go, blah blah blah, right? And so, as we came to ourselves, we realized that our young men, specifically in this time that we're in, were going to need something, right? They were going to need something that they could stand on, something that they can build and grow in, a place where they could see themselves, even if they're inside of their homes and they couldn't get out or whatever it may be, dealing with the social, emotional, and the mental, like all these things that our young people were dealing with at the moment, as we've seen a spike of suicide and all these different types of things within our community with our young people. And it was like, we have to, because they're worth it. And so I think, like I said, it opened up an amazing opportunity to adjust and to adapt. And now our young men, we're 2 weeks into our program, are being exposed to individuals all across the country, right? Where we, in our little minds and in our little space at Ohio State, in the dorms, going to the colleges on campus and being able to do some traveling for experiential learning was amazing. But now, because of this virtual space and thanks to COVID, really, right, we've been able to open up our minds and expand our reach and to be able to engage our young men in a way that we would have never been able to or even thought to be able to expose them.
Wow. So once again, I think very powerful in regards to, I think, the message around the impact to these young men, even in the midst of the challenge that we're actually going through right now, right? So I think that's amazing what you have been able to do, you and your team, that is, to provide them once again with this outlet right when they need it, probably more than ever before. there's so much similarity between you two. And by the way, that wasn't the intent of this call initially, right? To have you two on at the same time, but it worked out, but that's how he works, right? So, but the way you all are impacting our youth and their lives and their families right now, kudos to both of y'all. So I just want to thank you all for what y'all are doing. So now Jasper mentioned something about this virtual resistance, and Crystal, you started shaking your head like, yeah, I know what that is. I've been there. So what have you experienced some of that as well?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's hard to keep them engaged when you're not with them. Just like the other day, I had a class, and they're my young ones, so it was like 3.5 to 5-year-olds, and so I'm putting in energy. I'm all over the top, trying to keep them engaged and keep them happy and keep them, having fun. And I look, and a couple of my kids, they're laying on the couch, upside down, just and I was like, no, we're supposed to be dancing. You're learning something else, so keeping them engaged. Sometimes I think it was kind of hard for the parents because they were used to bringing them to the studio, so they'd rather have the in-person classes, but we weren't doing it. And then people were, we would send out notices every half an hour before class. They would always forget, that we had class, and then one of them was going to make it up. I'm like, no, I got to go on to the next class now. So it was just, getting people used to it. And then the kids having to be on their computers all day for school. Yeah. So it's hard, have them on the computer all day at school, and then they got to get back on. Yeah, they're going to see Miss Crystal and the rest of the staff, but they're kind of sick of being on the computer and learning stuff. So yeah.
Yep, it's definitely an adjustment.
Yeah.
So,
and you had to do it so quick. We didn't see it coming.
Not at all. And now we're in a situation, right, where we're seeing these spikes, and it's going back up, and it's like, we may be back in a stay-at-home situation. And while at the same time we're preparing for the fall and school and sports, and it's like,
but it's how a lot because you don't know what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
We opened up our phase 1 opening 2 weeks. This is our second week, and modified schedule. We can't have all of our classes because we have 2 studios in our building, and one we can't use because you can't keep them 6 feet apart. So we have to cut our classes in half, and then our classes aren't as long because we're checking temperatures when they come in. We're assessing them and asking them how they're feeling. They can't use the dressing room, the kitchen, the lobby. They got to go straight into the studio. Then we have to sanitize the studio before the next class comes in. We've got to cut the classes in half. So I have one group at the studio, and the other one is on Zoom. So I have a computer in front of me so they can see me, and then I have the kids in the studio. So you're having to interact with both groups. And then you got to remind parents, okay, well, group B comes next week, and then group A stays at home. And it's just,
it's a lot to figure out, isn't it?
It is. It really is. So.
And that's the thing I want people to realize, especially for anybody that's tied to events or activities or processes. It's a lot of work to figure out how to even begin to move forward in this new environment. I mean, that's a lot. So understanding the best practices and the safety practices and everything, right? So kudos to you all for what y'all are doing, how y'all have navigated. So think about this, right? So COVID-19 comes in, one pandemic. Then we have the situation, right? And it's like, it was a culmination of hundreds of years of the way we've been mistreated as people, disenfranchised, right? Traumatized, terrorized, you name it, all of the above. Then you have the Amy Cooper situation in New York City. You have the situation with the guy up in Minneapolis, right, where he didn't think the brothers were supposed to be in the gym. And then you had at the same time, you had the situation with Breonna Taylor. You had the situation happen with George Floyd, right? You had the situation with Ahmaud Arbery. Then all that happens, and a week later, you have the situation with Rashad down in Atlanta. So clearly, we've been through a lot there. It's been a major moment of civil unrest and efforts to make change happen. Has there been any impact, or first before we get to impact to your business, perspectives on, and you don't have to go long, but for your personal perspectives of Black people on everything that's happening right now. Then we want to talk about business-wise, how does that impact you and how you proceed? And since Crystal went twice, she went first twice, we're going to turn it over. Jasper, go ahead.
All right. It's funny that you asked this question. The name of the Summer Institute that we're running for Leadership for Development for our young men now is called Ubuntu. Right? Ubuntu, which means
Ubuntu.
It means I am because we are. I am because we are. And one of the things that we've been consistently talking about in our engagement with our young men is the importance of the moment, right? And them being able to understand that going through this process, if they're not preparing or a part of a plan, right? And so we know the protests, right? The awareness and the understanding of the frustrations and all the things because all of these things that we mentioned that have happened over the last few months are things that we've continued to see in our community and throughout this country for years.
Yeah.
Right. But it was almost like that tipping point, right? Conversation, right? And it's almost like we got there. And I think COVID had a lot to do with that, right? But understanding in this space as a people, right, that it's really time for us to come together, right, and to make sure that collectively that we're collaborating, that we are becoming each other's resource, that we are serving each other. We talk about servant leaders today with our young men and why that's so important in their community, in their schools, and in their households. And so just as a people, really understanding and valuing the time that we're in and the amount of effort and energy that we need to give to this moment so that it will affect generations to come. And so right now is not a time. One of my brothers, we talk about this story, and I like to share this because I think it's super impactful and something for us as a people to really think about within the two viruses or pandemics or whatever we want to call them that we're in this moment is the story around there was an African-American male professor who was invited to a planning meeting at a larger university. And he gets to the meeting and he has plans and research and data that's centered around the next 10 to 15 years. Right. And this was like in 2008, and he's projections for 2020. He gets there, he's excited, right? He gets to the table, first time being invited. And he gets there and they tell him like, this isn't about 2020. This conversation is about 2050. Right. And so as a people, right, I think we have to start having this conversation around the long play and legacy and things that are sustainable and that will last, that we can not only create ourselves, but that we can be also the fuel, right, to the things that we create and not having to be in a position where we're in need of other resources and other things, but really planning and sitting down and talking about 30, 40, 50-year plans with our children and with our family and with those that we build and we develop with. And so I think that's the time that we're in, and this is the opportunity that we have in this moment.
Yeah, powerful, powerful. Well said. I 150% agree. 150%. I think we should be looking at the long-term component right now. And the thing that's interesting is, I think some people look at this and think that this is just like that short period of history. I think this is that tipping point, but I also think it's one of those elongated moments, right? Like years upon years upon years, because where we are today didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
And where we need to go won't happen overnight.
That's it.
But we got to keep pushing, right? Because it's the tipping point. So, Crystal, we'll turn it over to you and see what else you have to add to that.
That's one thing I was discussing with some of my teens at my studio is that a lot of people, even some of the younger people may have thought it was just this one thing that happened that set all of this off. And I said, no, this is 300-400 years compounded on top, on top, on top, on top. So it may have been like a little feather that just tumbled it all down. And we as a people, now is the time for us to come together. We get everything we need from us.
Absolutely.
You know, we can, you know, from grocery stores to theaters to movies to dance studios. I mean,
Right.
education, schools. We can get everything from within us, but we need to come together
Yeah.
and support each other. And we all bring something to the table. We all may bring something similar to the table, but we all have something we can bring that we can work together and build it up.
Well said, well said. And guess what, y'all? That is why we're doing what we're doing right now, right? We know that we can help each other to be stronger, right? I am, because we are, right?
Yeah.
So y'all know it, y'all heard it, right? And that's what we have to do. That's why this is called ColumbusBlack.com Support Black Business Series. We want to keep highlighting and showcasing our business owners to get the word out. For those that don't know, I think I may have said it earlier, this is free. I'm not charging this. We all know the one thing you never get back is time. But I dedicate the time to this because I think it's so important that we have a platform where we can get our information out. We can support each other with no excuses, and it can be done. All right. So with that being said, so let's talk about next steps, right? So Crystal, you have Leap of Faith. Tell us a little bit more about that. Like, talk to us about the business. Those that don't know what you actually do and who your clients are, why don't you walk us through?
We, at Leap of Faith, we offer all genres of dance, from ballet, tap, jazz, lyrical, contemporary, hip hop. We have a sign and movement class. One of our instructors teaches sign language, so she has a sign and movement class. We have liturgical, because we are a faith-based, Christian-based dance studio. The age of students we have are 3.5 to seasoned adults. And actually, the next steps for us for Leap of Faith after 16 years are very, very uncertain. Very uncertain now. Because we were closed for basically almost 4 months now.
Right.
And a lot of our students are not coming back due to the concerns of COVID. Even on some of them is really hard to do it on Zoom. So they would need to be in the studio. That's their preference, but they're not ready to come back yet. So I've lost students for the rest of the season now also. We are $22,000 in arrears for our rent. That being said, you know, it's a business as far as the people who own a property, and they are at the point now where they need their rent. So we are actually in a bind, but I know that whatever is supposed to happen is going to happen.
Okay. All right.
Whatever we're supposed to be, we're going to be.
Yep.
And I love the space we're at. I love what we're able to offer at that space, but I do know this: Leap of Faith is not a building. That is not who we are, what we are in our community, within our studio. We are more than a dance studio. We're a family. We are family, mothers and daughters and aunties, and we have mentors, and we love on these kids, and we love on our adults, and we are one community. So wherever we are is where we're supposed to be. I'll be really sad to lose the building. It's a great space, but I do know that's not who we are.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna get right to it. I normally do this toward the end of the show, right? But part of the reason why we're doing this is to support Black-owned businesses, short term and long term. We want you to be here, right? So what I'm gonna ask is that everybody who is watching this, I'm gonna ask that whether you're watching this right now, today, tonight, next week, I need you to share, right, this. By the way, Crystal, have you established any way for people to support you financially? Do you have a GoFundMe or any type of account?
A former parent who started a GoFundMe for us.
Yeah.
And so she put it out there for the $22,000. As of today, we've raised $8,000.
Okay.
So I'm just overwhelmed with the support and love that people have shown us. We've got a long way to go, but man, the support we've gotten has been amazing. We also have a Cash App.
Okay.
I don't like to do the GoFundMe. So.
Yeah. What's the Cash App, by the way, so we know?
Cash App is LOF, like Leap of Faith.
Yeah.
10-10-2004.
Okay.
October 2004. That's when we opened. So LOF 102004.
2004. That was in 2004. Okay, cool. So listen, y'all got the Cash App, and for the GoFundMe, so you could go to GoFundMe, and is it under Leap of Faith?
Yes, but make sure it's Leap of Faith Dance Studio. There's another Leap of Faith studio in Westerville, and people have given money to theirs. We didn't, the parent who started realized they have, but they are Leap of Faith Dance Company. We're Leap of Faith Dance Studio. So, yeah, so I had one parent's like, I just gave $400. I'm like, oh, that wasn't the one they set up. So I have it on my page, and I can share it again too.
Yeah, so as a matter of fact, what you'll be able to do on this page on Facebook, you'll be able to drop the link in the comments for this event. So even after we get done, if you want to drop it in there, that way people will have it, and they'll be able to go ahead and click right on the link. So that's one of the things that I'm going to want to share. So once again, I'm going to ask everybody, if you have the financial wherewithal, I ask that you go ahead and you contribute, right? So let's come together, as we said, and let's support her business. I've had multiple business owners on over the last 3 months, right? Some have been doing really well. Some have not been doing so well. This is one of those situations where we need to truly do what this show is about, which is to support our businesses and make sure that they continue on beyond this period of time. So I'm going to make sure we, one, personally make a contribution, and two, I'm going to challenge everybody else, and we're going to share this, right, on a regular basis, and we're going to ask people, because I want to see the victory in saying that you have what you need, and we keep on going. And then I want to connect with you even later to talk about how, like, long-term from a business standpoint, how to try to, transition to monetize what you do. Because one of the key things that I've learned is now that we are in this situation, while we have been localized, like Jasper said earlier, COVID-19, because of virtual, has allowed us to now be international overnight. So now there's about Leap of Faith all over the world. And how do we transition where those who do want to go ahead and dance and have their kids involved in these activities, especially with stay-at-home situations, can actually contribute toward what you can provide as that outlet, as that resource in so many ways. So we're going to take a leap of faith on the fact that God is going to help bless you, and a leap of faith to continue to be around. All right. So I'm getting off my soapbox.
Okay. Thank you.
Jasper, she got me to preaching up in here.
Come on, bro. Listen, that's the only way to do it, is figure out how to help each other move forward, sis. So with that, we're also going to be a part of making sure that we share, right? We share the ability for our constituents and the people that we engage with in our network to make sure that they contribute to that work as well. We know it's happening with a lot of business owners and small businesses within our communities who are struggling and having a difficult time. And the key is like we said, right? I am because we are. And if we collectively don't support each other and build each other up in times of need, then who else will, right? And so definitely, yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Thank
Good
you
stuff.
so much.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about, so Jasper, you talk about, because you got a few different things going on. What do you want to share with the audience so we understand your business a little bit better and how people can get excited and support you and what you're doing as well?
Man, so yeah, a number of things. Specifically, first of all, I would come from the approach of the work that we do in our schools and school districts around Central Ohio and throughout the state of Ohio, specifically going in doing professional development, whether that's culturally relevant pedagogy to implicit bias training, dealing with systematic racism. All these things that now are bubbling to the top are things that we've been doing before. We do a lot of work around family engagement, of helping schools and principals to figure out how to engage the families. We know that if you don't engage parents properly, right, and especially now with COVID, right, the thing is, like, if you haven't engaged parents and parents aren't on board, right, it's like you're circling the wagons consistently, trying to get things moving, trying to get things going, when the actual answer is making sure that you develop that support around the academic and instructional engagement that you're giving to your students, but to equip your parents with an understanding that they are valued in the education system.
Yeah.
A lot of our parents in our schools and school districts that are struggling, specifically the ones that we work with, a lot of times they don't see themselves a part of the solution. right? And until we bring them in and equip them and remind them that we can't do this without them, right? Then what happens is that our schools are blaming it on our parents are blaming it on our schools, and our students are failing, right? And falling behind each and every day. And so we really push the envelope around making sure that our community and our families are properly engaged and understand how they can support and help our schools in the work that's happening and being done. But then when I talk about Masters Preparatory Academy and Ubuntu, our leadership institute that we're running right now, you know, we are wide open to our young men. We're looking specifically dealing with rising ninth graders, because we know that in that gap, in that space, when young men transition from middle school to high school, there's a lot of lag, as the kids would say when they're playing the game, dealing with Wi-Fi and connection, right? There's a major disconnect with our young men in that transition. And a lot of times it's because they don't see themselves and have an understanding of where they're going in that transition. And so Ubuntu is specifically designed to deal with those rising ninth graders, rising 10th graders, really to be able to give them a blueprint and a plan for where they're going. One of the great things about this program is that we match them up with our mentors who are college students, all African-American males out of The Ohio State University, to pair with these young men, to work with them and engage with them throughout the summer and throughout the school year with those young men. And we also pair and connect them with our professionals, which are educators and individuals who are in the corporate space who are coming in to work directly with them. And so we kind of use the approach of, one of my young men said it today, that three-strand cord is not easily broken, right? And so we understand that when we create a three-strand cord with our young students, our college mentors, and then those individuals who are already in those places of vocation, then what happens is that not only are you able to see where you're going, but you're also able to touch the process, right? And so we think that's extremely important for African-American males when it comes to the narrative and the perspective of media and engagement, right? When they don't see themselves in the process of becoming great outside of dribbling the ball or rhyming or hitting a fast lick, and right, whatever it may be. A lot of times how we see ourselves in our communities, but being able to develop and design a new system, we call it a new ecosystem, that allows them to see themselves, to touch where they're going, but to also see where they desire to be and be influenced, impacted, right, engaged, and equipped in the process. And so we use academics, right, where we have professors from multiple different universities who come on. Like today we had Dr. Kiss from Kent State and Akron University come on and engaging our African-American males about the importance of writing, right? Why should we as African-American males write out what we're thinking, what's going on in our lives, and how that transitions into their acceleration of standardized testing, and what the transition between high school and college writing and the difference between the two. And then from an entrepreneurial component, right, we have individuals like yourself and other brothers throughout the community who are doing amazing things in the entrepreneurial state, being creators and putting plans together that affect our community, and showing these young men that you can work and be a part of a corporate space, right? But you can also have your own business, right? And we try to align that and make sure our young men understand that. We're doing economic development. We had Jack and Elliot from the Effie Group come in and do some budget planning and talk to them about life insurance, long-term plays to short-term plays, and what that looks like and how it affects we talked about the rule of 72, right? Just giving them all of these tools that a lot of our young men would never be exposed to unless they get into certain environments. And then, we have Sister Stacy Burke come on from a different perspective around economics, right? And financial literacy, where she does a program called Onionomics, where we talk about peeling back our relationship habits and behavior from a mental space as far as finances and money are concerned, because everybody has a relationship with money, right? A lot of times you just don't know it and nobody talks to you about it because it's something that you've learned. And then even to the next level of being able to be in a place where we're engaging and teaching our young men their rights, right? Their civil and social rights. We have Judge Jasper Page from here in Franklin County is rocking with our young men, as well as shout out to Judge Stacy Cook out of Lucas County, and then a few police officers from Columbus Police Department, Toledo Police Department, right? Been coming in, talking and engaging with our young men, wearing their uniforms while they're engaging them, but then coming back on and taking their uniforms off, right? So we can really, shift that perspective and the paradigm around how we see these people, right, who are just like us, working and having on these uniforms, behind these badges, and kind of whatever we're dealing with, right, socially, but understanding your rights and hearing it from them, from the ones who would judge, the ones who would be pulling you over, the ones who would be having the conversation about what's right and what's wrong, and now changing that narrative, man. And so these are some of the things that we're really looking at to really equip our young men to get them to understand their role, their importance, partnering with the NAACP, right? Our young men are a part of designing the first statewide virtual conference for the NAACP Youth Conference, right? This stuff is amazing, right? And so they can write that on their resume and talk, and then they also are becoming members, right? So every young man that's a part of Ubuntu for the Summer Leader Institute and the mentors, the college students are going to be in a part of the NAACP as a member now of the NAACP and be a part of our chapter that we're launching here locally, right? And so just exposing our young men to spaces and places and people that not only affect them right now in the moment, but will change their lives from this day forward.
I need to get your information for the school that I work at during the day.
Definitely.
Get your, we just had I need to talk to you.
Yeah. The reality is that we have to do school different. Yeah. Right? We have to do school different. We talk about it all the time that the education system and the schooling system, is in last place. If this was a race, the education system would be in last place, right? And so we have to understand that right now we have an opportunity to shift because it's forcing us to do so, right? It's forcing our teachers to be equipped and to understand 21st century tools and resources when it comes to technology and engaging with our students, forcing our school districts to buy the resources so our students can have it, forcing the people in policy and legislation to make a decision so that our students have access to those things in certain communities, right? All of this is being forced due to this moment and this window that we have. And so when it comes to education, we have to grab a hold of this thing and we have to use it. We got to wear this thing down, run it until the wheels fall off, as my father used to say, right? And make sure that we capitalize in the moment and we do everything that we can, because once again, what we're doing right now is going to change and shift the course of generations to come.
Absolutely, it is. So Crystal actually took us into the segue, which was going to be, how do people get in contact with you, right? So whether it's on the diversity piece, right? Diversity, equity, and inclusion piece, or if it's on the Ubuntu side of things and they have a young man or they want you to come in and get involved in the school system and education piece, how do they get in contact with you?
Perfect. So from the Ubuntu side of things, and your young men can actually, because our registration is still open for the summer, and it's a continuing program that will go into the school year as well. But you can actually go onto the website at Ubuntu Leadership, right? UbuntuLeadership.co. All right, UbuntuLeadership.co. You can go directly there to that website, and they can actually hit the registration, the register button on there. The young men can register, parents, you can register your child. They can register right there, and we'll contact them, get them plugged in, and get them connected as ASAP on ASAP, right? And every day we're connecting each and every day with these young men, starting at 9 a.m. And so you can register your young men and get them logged in and connected with us on that end. With the consultant work, working in the schools, putting together plans around equity, specifically within our schools, and family engagement, as well as instruction and engagement. You can go directly to Tailored Fit, right? That's Tailored, Tailord, fit, FIT.org, tailoredfit.org, right? And you can go on and just leave a message and let us know, and we'll, or one of our assistants, somebody on the team will respond immediately to figure out how we can connect with a school or organization within the community to help and support and put some plans together, and also roll out some different forms of engagement to get things moving.
Nice. Well, look, y'all got all the information, no excuses. Y'all know how to reach out to them. So we're going to do the exact same thing. So Crystal, somebody wants to support you. I know we talked about, the different ways financially, but if they want to get their kids involved, give us all the information that they need so we know how to follow up.
If you want information about classes, you can send it to manager@LOF, so manager@leapoffaithdance.com, and we'll get all the information out to you. You can reach out to us on all of our social media sites. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to contact me personally, it's crystal@lofdance.com.
Outstanding. All right. So they know how to get in contact with you all as well, right? So here's what I want everybody to do, right? So if there are any business owners, right, that are on the thread, or you watch this video, right, it's on Facebook, you still, even after this, you can comment. I want you to tag your business, okay? I want you to put your tag in. That way people know your business. I want you to put what you do, tag your business, add your link, right? Then if you are not a business owner, but you support Black businesses, if there's a business you patronize, I want you to tag that business owner or that company in this thread as well. What that's doing is anytime somebody is watching this video, they are tied to the digital footprint that's being established, right? So this is the most economical way of promoting a business, where somebody can see it just because they decided to watch this video, whether it's now, today, a year, 3 years, 5 years from now, which is why we need to make sure our businesses last. But at that point, anybody can support at that given time. No excuses, right? So I'm asking that you all do that. Tag your business or tag a business you support. That's easy. So anybody watching this should be able to at least tag one business that they support, okay? That way they see this video, and they also, because you tag them, they're going to say, oh, I could be on there. Oh, and it's free, right? So it's a no-brainer. And that's how we support the ecosystem that was mentioned earlier and help each other, all right? So no more excuses, y'all, all right? Let's move forward with that, all right? So with that being said, Jasper, Crystal, is there any last statement, right? So if you think about it, was there anything that we missed that you want the audience to be aware of, to know about, you want to share, you want to get on your soapbox for a minute? You have the time, right? We still are within 10 minutes of our window, so we're not in a rush like sometimes. So if you have something you want to share, this is your time, all right? So since we started with Crystal at the beginning, Jasper will let you, and then we'll wrap up with the lovely Crystal. All right, here we go.
Perfect. First of all, I just want to big ups from ColumbusBlack. Kev, thank you so much for allowing us to be on here. This work, the exposure, the engagement for our community is much needed. In Columbus, surrounding and beyond, brother. So thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
I really just want to just really place a charge to the community more than anything. Is that, we talk about this opportunity in this moment, this window, right? All of the different phrases and way that we see what's going on with COVID and the protests and all these different things that are happening within our community and across the country. I think the biggest thing that we really, really have to do is understand that we have an opportunity right now to reshape, right, history. Right?
Right.
We have an opportunity right now to reshape history. And so we know that, right? And we have these conversations around what we've been reading in our history books.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them have been truth and some of them have been lies.
Yeah.
Right. But depending on what we're doing as a people and as a community, and this is not just us as African Americans and Black people.
Right.
Right. This is for all of us. Right. We have an opportunity right now to make to help and reshape the crooked and make it straight, the things that have been wrong to turn them right, to be able to literally love on each other and be able to find ourselves providing solution and ways for us to collectively work together. And the last thing I want to say too is that I want to urge everybody to find themselves in being a part of a process of a plan of action, right? In this time and in this moment. I speak to a number of the spaces that I've been blessed to be able to have conversation around what's going on and what we need to do and how we need to do it. But I also speak to the fact that I'm a part of a number of groups, and specifically I speak to the collective specifically around focusing on the state of Ohio and looking at those urban 8 cities. Right. And what is needed in those urban 8 cities and how we can make a shift, right? And really a request for a demand of what's needed so that we can be the ones who provide the solution. Right. And so and we're pressing into that. We're putting plans together. We're meeting consistently to make sure that what's needed is recognized by the people in all 8 of those urban cities and urban school districts and urban communities around the state of Ohio. But then we'll go to those who make those decisions and say, hey, this is exactly what's needed. Here's the plan. This is the execution. And this is the way that we can get it done. But we only do that if we have a collective mindset. And so I want to urge everybody, be a part of a solution-driven, mission-driven plan. Right, and begin to have conversations with your children about generations to come and the importance of this moment and how their lives and the lives of their children's children will impact generations to come. So thank you so much, Kev. I appreciate it. Those will be my last words, what I would charge and push into our community and abroad, that we come together and we make this moment count.
That's right. Outstanding. Outstanding. Thank you, Jasper, for sharing. Thank you for the recognition. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. And yes, be a part of the action, y'all. Don't talk about it, as we say, be about it. So step up and make that happen. With that being said, Crystal Boyce, turn it back over to you. Any last words that you have for the audience?
I just want to thank you so much for having us on today. Thank you so much for your support, for reaching out to me. I appreciate it more than you know. I've been overwhelmed with the support we receive from our community and our friends. And I just hope that we as a people, we keep this momentum going.
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen us become just more together, more cohesive, more together, and more supportive of each other. And I just hope that we keep this momentum going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got
again.
Yep, definitely.
Thank
so,
you.
and don't forget, y'all, so we wanted to make sure for those that joined us late, right? So Crystal shared with us some of the challenges that they're dealing with Leap of Faith, right? From a financial perspective, they've been impacted as one of our Black-owned businesses that have been impacted, and we want to assist in raising funds to help eliminate this situation so she could do what she's been doing to transform lives, right? She's not just out here with a business hanging out. She's transforming lives, right? From young to old. So we want to support that. So I'm going to swing back one last time. Crystal, we had 2 different ways that if somebody wants to contribute financially that they could do that. There's a Cash App and there's a GoFundMe. Can you walk us through that one last time?
Yeah, so we do have a GoFundMe that a former parent has started on our behalf. And I will put the link in this this thread here. And then our Cash App is LOF for Leap of Faith 10-2004. So LOF 102004.
Okay, there you all have it. All right, so check it out. And then with that being said, we're going to do what we normally do, right? So want to make sure you all do one easy thing for me, right? So I ask that y'all contribute your support, right? Reach out to Leap of Faith, get your kids involved. Guess what? If you need diversity, equity, and inclusion help and support, if you're trying to get your young men involved in a program that's going to change and transform their lives, you need to reach out to Jasper Person, and he shared his information earlier as well, okay? Then, if you're a business owner, I want you to tag yourself in the thread. If you're not a business owner, I want you to tag a business that you support, right? Black-owned business you support in the thread so people can know who they are. And I want you to minimally share this, all right? Tap the share button, share it with your audience so other people can hear what you just heard today. And we appreciate that support. For those that want to advertise with ColumbusBlack.com or be a part of this, info@ColumbusBlack.com. It's that simple. Info@ColumbusBlack.com. Whether you want to be on this show for free or you want to advertise as a part of our special e-blast that goes out, it's $50 a month. It's up to you. But if you don't have the money, you still get this for free. So no reason why you can't reach out. Now, with that being said, I need y'all to follow us on our Facebook page, our Instagram page, our Twitter page. You can follow me on LinkedIn under Kevin Lloyd as well, or under ColumbusBlack.com. Our sponsor is Mile, M-Y-L-E. Y'all see the bag right there behind me? M-Y-L-E stands for Make Your Life Entertaining. That's how you find out about all the cool things going on around you right in the palm of your hand. We're close to 5,000 downloads. So I need everybody to download the Mile app and tell your friends too as well. There are hundreds of virtual events on there. There's some live events. I don't know how long they're going to be on there with everything going on right now, but they are on there. So make sure you check those out. If you have an event, post your event. It notifies people within 50 miles. They automatically know what's going on. All right. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up in our normal fashion. Just remember, in order to be more successful in your future, you need to understand a little bit more about your past. That's the reason why we just put Crystal Hall-Boyce and Jasper Person on blast right here on the ColumbusBlack.com Support Black Business Series. And on that note, I'm going to end as I always do, y'all. I'm out. Take care.